I thought this was pretty important, and I was curious, because of its importance, how devoted these people are to bringing this to light. Because you could have really good evidence, and then no one's really pushing for it to be exposed. So as you can see, we have 3 of them in One Day, One Vote shirts. So you can kind of put them in a group. They are together in their mentality. You've got the lady in the pink shirt with the cross in her lap that she is displaying. So you could put her in a group of that mentality. That she's probably with them, she's just not wearing the shirt. There isn't that many of them here, as you can see by the empty seats. And I don't think it's a COVID issue because 2 of them are sitting right next to each other. So we're not emptying seats because somebody doesn't want to sit next to somebody.
Since 2015, hundreds upon hundreds of falsified court documents have been loaded into the database. These documents include...
So if you see the woman in the back wearing the One Day, One Vote shirt, she begins to shake her head in the negative. She considers this a very important point. Now, for those of you who don't know, apparently sometime in 2014 or in that range of time, the court system in Maricopa County was built, so to speak, and talking about the database, all that computer filing data, fun stuff. And they have found, and you can watch this entire testimony if you want to, that someone, as they have alluded to a particular cartel, was able to delete official documents from the court system or upload fraudulent court documents to the court system. And all of that would be considered legitimate documents. So as you hear her speak, and this is why the lady in the back finds this to be very important, they upload anything. They could say you have an outstanding balance in paying your child support and use that as an excuse and a means to harass you in the court systems and the police department.
Falsified default judgments, criminal restitution orders, child support orders, all of these used in swatting activities against individuals posing a threat to the racketeering activities.
So she goes into swatting activities. That same lady tightens her mouth. It would appear to me, because of how interested she is in this part, she may have some firsthand knowledge on that actually being acted out on either a friend, someone she's met, her own family. So as far as her mentality, she really wants this to be pushed out. And as far as she's concerned, when you have that mentality, you don't care what the consequences are because you know the dirty secrets.
Since 2004, elections within Pima County and Maricopa County have been manipulated through the infiltration of the county databases, resulting from bribes paid to executives at election service providers, including, but not limited to, principals at Runbeck Election Services. In addition to impacting local elections, bribes and infiltration were used to affect the outcome of the races during the November 3rd, 2020 election, including the outcome of the race for Maricopa County Recorder and the outcome of the November 8th, 2022 election, race for Governor, Secretary of State, and Attorney General. Public officials who have received bribes include multi-state office holders, State House and State Senate, local office holders, county supervisors, judges in the Maricopa Supreme Court, judges of some city courts, including 2 presiding judges, judges' assistants, prosecutors within certain cities within Maricopa County, prosecutors for Maricopa County, peripheral legal specialists, including attorneys, approved mental health care providers, as in court-appointed advisors and related specialists. In the Superior Court of Maricopa County and Pinal County and Pima County, at least 25% of the active judges have accepted bribes in exchange for protecting the racketeering activities. Bribe payments generally begin before the individual is even appointed to the bench. Bribes are usually paid as an incentive for the attorney to leave their private practice. By way of example, Mesa City Prosecutor's Office routinely files charges and convicts innocent individuals who knowingly or unwittingly pose a threat to the racketeering enterprise. With respect to judges in the Mesa City Court, Judge Tatz, Judge Alicia Lawler preside over these invented cases filed by the city prosecutor, falsely convicting and sentencing the defendant. In the Maricopa County Superior Court Family Division, child custody evaluators, commonly known as court-appointed advisors, routinely accept bribes in exchange for favorable reports. bribes are often facilitated by attorneys representing one party.
Do I what?
But let me explain. As I stated earlier, in 2018, Mr. Thaler found trust deeds recorded with the Maricopa County Recorder Office, evidencing money laundering and tax evasion. These documents, as I mentioned, were prepared by both Brittany and Donna Chavez. Both of them are connected to the real estate agents suspected of setting up the home purchasing laundering systems in Arizona. Their principal employer was and is the Sinaloa and Contel. Today we know that their participation in the creation of documents necessary for the criminal enterprise runs more than 25 years and includes facilitating bribes to public officials. Our initial discovery included more than 100 fake trust deeds and warranty deeds in Maricopa County, where either Brittany or Donna executed the document as either buyer or seller, or as the notary under an assumed name. At least half these documents purported to be executed by married individuals. The discovery of the falsified deeds led to the discovery of...
So she starts reading off basically how it was being ran with these documents. And the little lady, the little Asian lady in the back, right directly behind her, she starts sitting up and now she doesn't want to look at anyone. It makes me think, for her mentality, this is something that has actually been done. She has some carnal knowledge in that system. I'm not quite sure whether she's a victim or a perpetrator, whistleblower. I have no idea. But it has all of a sudden made her stop moving because previous to this, she just was avoiding eye contact, kind of turtling herself. But now she's sitting straight up as if she's the one being spoken about and giving no eye contact, not moving at all. So in this case, you might look at this in a sense that you've got individuals there that are in it and they're not going to give up. And in the Asian lady's case, at least in this example, it seems like she's brave enough to face it, even though it looks like she has carnal knowledge of it.
Most of these deeds have been fraudulently notarized, meaning that one or multiple parties' names in the transaction are either not present or do not exist at all. In some, if not all cases, it's evident by page 65 in your packet. Ms. Hobbs and Mr. Goodman's signatures are clearly inconsistent, indicating that the majority of the deeds were created by a different individual.
So, I hope you understood what she's saying. It's kind of hard for me to understand her accent at times. But Hobbs, Katie Hobbs, was involved in this scandal. So as you look at the people behind, you got the guy on the cell phone back there. Apparently he's quite relaxed on this information. The lady in front with the pigtails and the gentleman in the back with the cell phone. And it would appear that the cross-bearing pink shirt, they're not scared, which is good. I hate to bring this up because I'm sure it's going to taint them. But you know how Antifa is when they feel like they're right and you just can't doggedly tell them anything? This is them right now. They know they're right. And kudos, we all agree with them. And so they don't have any fear to back down because as far as they're concerned, God is on their side, which is what you need when you're dealing with something of this magnitude and the corruption that is there. I'm going to let it play just so you can get the rest of the context of this. I don't think there's much else.
Attempting to copy Hobbs and Goodman's signatures, particularly on the deeds where the notarizations have been found to be fake. We then researched the title companies and the mortgage companies on these deeds of trust. Some of these do not or have never existed. Some do not even exist in Arizona.
Ms. Berger, can I ask you to please submit one of these packets to the pages so we can get this put in the record? And then we are going to have to tighten this up and keep it germane to election so we don't exceed the scope of our authority.
Sure. Would you like me to finish with my conclusions with that?
How much more do you have?
A bit. Let me
how about
finish. Let
3
me finish
minutes?
on this example,
Okay.
and then I will go on to more of the election fraud. Okay, so when I said we researched the title companies and the mortgage companies, some do not even exist. What can we conclude by these discoveries? Purpose of having a fake deed of trust is to move cash without it being traceable. A phony mortgage company provides a phony mortgage as the one primary method by which cash is moved invisibly. There are basically only 3 reasons to create a fake deed of trust. If the buyer does not exist, then the mortgage serves as a means of laundering the money. If the buyer does exist, then the mortgage is used to provide the owner of the deed money that is untraceable. And when the person resides in the location of the deed, then that's even more further proof that money is being provided that is untraceable.
Oh, that little Asian lady. She's giving like a tight-lipped movement. It's not really up in the face. It's like keeping her mouth shut. So I'm assuming that's where her knowledge is at, is on the money laundering using fake mortgages with Hobbs and Goodman.
I can take you through example after example, but in the interest of time, since at least 2004, ballot counts have been tampered with. Our county's current computer database, which was built between 2014 and 15, has been and continues to be infiltrated and hacked. Its architects specifically designed the system with multiple backdoor entry points. These points permit the uploading of falsified documents and the removal of genuine documents from the county system.
Now, the lady here that should be able to divorce herself from the area and move on, she actually is, if you can see her hands, they're entwined and they're shaking. She's squeezing. So this part actually terrifies her. Fake documents. It should actually terrify anybody. Can you imagine? You're sitting there, just schmo, going back and forth to work. You pay your taxes. You don't speed. You don't do anything. As far as your neighbors are concerned, you all get along. Everything's great. The cops never come to your house. And then all of a sudden, they come to your house for some made-up assault somewhere or violating protection orders that don't really exist. There's all kinds of things that these people could do with that backdoor system to destroy your life. Saying you didn't pay your taxes, you know what they can do with you with that. To see that much stress in her hand and the tightness in her body as it came through, this is terrifying. And I am 100% sure that this is not the only county with this kind of system in it.
We have seen Brittany access the database and have an eyewitness to testify for that. Over the past 15 years, Brittany has used her access to load falsified judgments and so on. Beginning in 2007.
So now we see the shaking of the paper, all kinds of stuff. This is terrifying. For those of you who are not American, maybe you're not quite up to the laws if you are an American. If state A decides to come after you, even though you've never been there because they falsified some document, you're safe nowhere.
If you like it, please share and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
If you'd like to learn more about analysing body language, there is a video course available on Mandy's website for Gold subscribers.